Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Vanessa Conlin, Master of Wine and Head of Wine at Wine Access. And I'm very excited to be here today with Tom Brennan, Master Artisan from Waterford Crystal, as we taste some beautiful wines and talk about decanting, when to decant, what to decant, and to handle any questions that might come up along the way. So Tom, I'd love to kick it over to you.
Right. Hey, Vanessa, hey, everybody. My name is Tom Brennan. I am the Master Artisan and Craftsman for Waterford Crystal. So this is very exciting time for us here today. It's a very exciting time for everybody out there because I know there's lots and lots of burning questions about decanting. I mean, I love my wine, I love my water, but I want to kind of do a deeper dive and hopefully ask a lot of questions that people are thinking out there today.
So there's really two main reasons to decant. One would be sort of exactly as you said, to sort of introduce a beautiful breath of oxygen into the wine. And this is usually done in a type of wine that's very youthful, which can sometimes be kind of angular and not ready to sort of express itself fully yet. Or to decant a wine off of sediment. So for instance, a very old wine, as tannin in red wines, they begin to precipitate out of wine as red wine ages. That's why red wine actually gets lighter in color as it ages, because those tannins will start to settle in the form of sediment at the bottom of a bottle. So often decanting can be done to actually remove the wine off the sediment so it doesn't end up in your glass. And examples of wine like that might be, an older Bordeaux or a vintage port. But no matter what the reason is, you're putting into a vessel that is not the bottle that you ordered it in. And so to achieve one of those different effects, to kind of, open it up or to remove it off of its sediment.
How long before should you decant before you consume? Is there a time, is there an optimal time period, or does it depend on like the young versus the old?
It's another really, really good question, and one that I actually get quite a bit. And ultimately, it depends on how you like your wine, but I'll tell you what I do. So with the youthful wine, let's say a wine that's sort of, you think about this wine, it's been slumbering inside this bottle, just waiting for someone to open it. But when it's still on the youthful side, I like to get it open sooner. I will actually do what's called sort of a rough decant. So rather than sort of holding the bottle very gently like I would with an older one, I'll really actually kind of let the wine splash around. Sometimes I might even take the decanter and give it a swirl. And so I like to get it in the decanter earlier than later. I know a lot of people also like to do that with older bottles. I do not. So why I don't put an older bottle in a decanter earlier is, as the wines age, they develop these very delicate tertiary notes. In tertiary, when we say that, it's the aromas and the flavors that happen over time. It's what happens as the wine matures, and they can be very delicate. And these older bottles also, they can sort of have a lifespan in the decanter where they'll start to show itself, and then they'll sort of start to regress back into sort of being quiet again. And for me, I don't want to miss any of the life of the wine. So if it's an older bottle, I actually decant it at the very last minute just to get it off of the sediment. And then I sort of watch what's happening in the glass. Tannins are tactile sensations. They come from the skins of the red grapes, and they're what gives red wines the color, the sort of structural background. And then also, if you've ever had a red wine and your mouth feels kind of dry, that's the tannin. So tannins, as I mentioned, it's a feeling, it's a tactile sensation. And when you feel that drying, it's because tannins are literally attaching to the proteins on your tongue and kind of drying out your palate, which is why actually very tannic wines can often pair very well with something like a big piece of protein, right? Because it can cut through that protein.
The thing about our decanters is that it's all personal choice, it's all personal preference. Of course, it's personal style. So what does your bar look like? What does your home look like? What piece of crystal, what design is going to work best for you? So that's where I sit. Where's your comfort zone? And that's the one you go for.
people often ask me, well, when's the right time to open a wine? Should I wait? Should I hold it for a decade? And I always say, you can't take it with you, right? So you enjoy it when
Right.
you open it, and that becomes the occasion. Don't wait for the occasion. And I think that's the same to think about using these beautiful decanters. Is it will absolutely elevate any moment, any experience with wine, under any circumstances. So cheers to that. And Tom, I've learned so much from you today. So thank you very much. And thanks for everyone for joining us today.
You got it. This has been a great experience for me. I'm looking forward to tasting some of these beautiful, beautiful wines.